Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to That to Shoot, my weekly insight show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. This was a big week, as this is a week after Mania. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about a few things. We're going back to old school, as I am feeling a lot better than what it was in the past, you know, 2 months. Feeling myself once again, and I'm making an effort to go back to doing what I've been doing. So we're definitely going to have the regular old That's a Shoot, where we got one main topic, we got a couple other minor topics to talk about before then. But then let's go ahead and let's get to tracking. We're gonna do this, all right? Come on, let's bring it. So this past WrestleMania weekend on Friday night, there was many things you could talk about. The Undertaker and his almost an hour speech at the Hall of Fame, which was sometimes long, but I think it was adorable. And I think you wasn't going to start chanting boring or anything like that, and it wasn't boring. It was just kind of long. I don't think it was, but he told some great stories, and he was he was you know he had that charisma that kept you intrigued. It was just long, maybe a little too long. I don't think he needed to do everything like that, and the whole stuff about the TED talk and everything like that, being the motivational speaker, which some people call him. But yeah, I think it was okay. But also, what happened Friday night, there was a Ring of Honor card. Super Card of Honor was done, and starting off with Ring of Honor, of course, Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. And who would appear at the end of the night but Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe is all elite. He is going to be doing part of Ring of Honor. He appeared this Wednesday on Dynamite as well. So Samoa Joe is all elite. Um, I think it's very interesting. I think for people who are big fans of Joe, it's going to be good to see Joe back in the back in wrestling, and hopefully he doesn't have his things with concussions over there, and hopefully he can continue on his career. I wish it was with WWE, but sometimes you have to move on, and that's totally fine. So Samoa Joe is now all elite. You're interested to see how that goes. You've got some tragic news to talk about. WWE Hall of Famer Tamara Linsich, known as Sunny, was involved in a fatal car crash. This was just from yesterday, posted on USA Today. Let's go ahead and let's we were talking about. Authorities in Florida identified Tamara Linsich, who wrestled in the WWE as Sunny, is a part of its Hall of Fame, as a suspect in a car accident that killed one person and injured several others. According to the Ormond Beach Police Department, on the night of March 25th, two vehicles were stopped at a traffic signal. A third vehicle was traveling in the same southbound direction on US Highway 1 and failed to stop and crashed into one of the stopped vehicles, which caused that vehicle to crash into the other vehicle in front of it. The operator of the vehicle that failed to stop was identified as Sitch, who was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2011. Sitch, 49, was taken to a hospital and released. Her blood was drawn as part of the investigation to see if she was impaired. The driver of the second vehicle was identified as Justin Lasseter, who was pronounced dead at a hospital. Driver and passengers in the third vehicle suffered injuries but did not go to a hospital. Our hearts go out to the Lasseter family that lost their loved one in such a tragic event, said Ormond Beach Police Chief Jesse Godfrey. Our goal at the Ormond Beach Police Department is to keep the city roadways safe. So if you see a vehicle operating in a manner that leads you to believe the driver may be impaired, please don't hesitate to call 911. You may just save someone's life. No charges have been filed against Sitch. The crash is still being investigated and authorities are waiting on toxicology results, which could lead to criminal charges. Sitch has previously drunk driving arrest, serving 8 months in jail for a DUI in 2018 and was charged in January with 2 counts of unlawful possession of a weapon and 1 count of terroristic threats. Yeah, it's a it's a shame because we can't we know some of the things that have gone on in Sonny's life with some of the substance abuses, and she lost some of the losses that she has had, some of the things that she's done. She did several. She did at least 1 or 2 adult films back in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. Back then, I'm kind of surprised that she is 49. I would say that because she was on she was on everybody's TV in 1995. So if you think about it, in 1995, I was 13. Yeah, in 1999, I was 13. I'm now 40, right? So that's 27. So if she was 49, 27 years, you mean to tell me she was 22 years old in 1995? Wow. That's unreal. I never would have thought that she would have been 22 years old in 95 when she first debuted in the WWF. And she had been on television before that with down in Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So that's amazing. I would have thought that she would have been older than 49. But that's not the big thing here. That's just me going crazy. But yeah, she's as effectively committed vehicular homicide, more than likely. There isn't a lot of more other things that happened, but she has been taken. She did get a toxicology result, so. But I think, if she was drunk, I think that, obviously they're going to charge her criminally. I would think they may charge her criminally no matter what, because she did kill someone, whether it be an accident or not. It's just whether or not if it's homicide or manslaughter at that point. I think and it may be both, to be very honest with you. It may be both. They may charge her with both vehicular manslaughter and vehicular homicide and see if they get one or both. If she comes out of this not being charged, I think that would be an absolute. Well, on her part, it would be one of the luckiest things she had ever done. And and they mentioned that she was, that she was in jail, for major four for a DUI. I remember there was things coming out on the internet where after she had got out, she was talking about changing her life and make sure that she never goes back into that place, and she was gonna make sure that she was right on she's gonna be right back on the right track. But damn, it's just unfortunate. Um, my thoughts go out to the family of of Lassiter, Mr. Lassiter, who was the fatality in his tragic accident. I'm glad the other people in the other cars were not majorly injured. But yeah, this is just a sad story. A person has lost his life, and an icon is the star keeps dimming, and that's not good. We got another one of these stories where we talk about it. Um, WWE releases NXT Tag Team Champion Nash Carter after wife's abuse allegations. Trigger warning for everybody who is listen to this. This is your trigger warning. NXT Tag Team Champion Nash Carter has been released by WWE. 27-year-old Carter, real name Zachary Green, was released from his contract on Wednesday after being accused of abusing his wife, Kimberly Green, a fellow wrestler currently signed to Impact Wrestling. On Monday, Lee posted pictures on Twitter alleging abuse by Carter, claiming he got wasted and hit me so hard he split my lip open. He told me I'm a wrestler, so I'm always marked up. I've hid this for a year and even forgave him, but I can't hide it anymore, Lee wrote. Um, you all wanted to prove, there it is. I'm sorry I backed out, but he was telling me lies all weekend to get me to not say anything. Lee also tweeted a photo Tuesday of Carter appearing to impersonate Adolf Hitler, making a Nazi salute. It's not clear when the picture was taken. Carter hasn't publicly responded to the allegations made by Lee. Lee formerly wrestled for WWE from 2017 to 2018, and is using the name Abby Lath in NXT. She and Carter have been married since May 2020. Prior to his release, MSK, Carter and his tag team partner Wes Lee won the NXT Tag Team title in a triple threat match at NXT Stand and Deliver last Saturday. It was MSK's second reign as the NXT champions. Carter appeared on Tuesday night's episode of NXT, and MSK was scheduled to defend the titles against Grayson Waller and Sanga on the show next week. Carter signed with WWE in December 2020 and made his debut as part of the NXT brand in January of 2021. He went by the in-ring name Zachary Wentz before signing with WWE. Now, there has been a few updates to this story. Well, maybe not updates, but a few reports coming out after this has happened. The report that saw that WWE found Kimberly's allegations to not be credible. That was one report that I saw. It said that her allegations were found not to be credible. And then there was another report that's saying that the WWE didn't fire Nash Carter due to those allegations, but they fired him because of the picture to Adolf Hitler, which makes sense because you wouldn't have, if you were going to fire him for the allegations, you would have did it when the allegations were first made, and not, several days later. Um, and also there have been other things that many people have said. The allegations have been, people have been alleged to do something, but they've kept them around. Um, Austin Theory being one of them. There's a few others, and there's also the story of people hypocritically were making the case that, they should fire, they fired Nash Carter, but wouldn't fire and gave a contract to Gabe Stevenson. Well, in both situations, Gable Stevenson was accused of sexual assault back in 2019, I believe. But no charges were found because they did not find the evidence to be able to um, charge Gable Stevenson and also another person of these sexual assault cases. Now, there's also some things going on with that where there's also, like, I guess in Minnesota, I believe, where the allegations occurred, those allegations occurred, where if a person has been drinking, you can't do something, you can't. It's not good. I don't know. I can't remember when I read it, but it's something like apparently the woman had been drinking, and if you're drinking, you can't make allegations. I guess some sort of like that. Google Gable Stevenson rape charge, and it comes up, and you can read it yourself. Because I'm doing a horrible job of trying to tell you about it, but yeah, but the reason why I bring it up because they were hypocritically saying this, but they you want Nash Carter to not have been fired, but you want to fire Gable Stevenson. You can't do that. You either got to be one way or the other. Either be all on board where, hey, any allegation you're gonna be, we're gonna fire you, or any allegation we're gonna let the things play out, in the court way, or we're gonna let them allegations be, looked into or whatever. No, you just can't not fire one person. You just not say, well, fire one person but keep the other person. No, that's not hypocritical. So it's hypocritical of the fans. And in my opinion, you don't know about any of those allegations. You weren't there, so don't even talk about it. Right? You don't know what happened with Nash Carter and his wife. You don't know what happened between that woman and Gable Stevenson and that other guy. You don't know. So just keep your mouth shut. But yeah, again, this is just it's another absolutely horrible story. I do hope that um, whatever did happen, whatever if anything did happen, that Nash and Kimber can they can be whatever it is together, and they can work out their problems or get the counseling that both of them will need if something did happen, or even if something did happen, they still need counseling because then why if nothing did happen, why is she making false allegations? So I think whatever is going on, I just hope both of them get the counseling that they need to move on with their lives and become and hopefully they can continue to be husband and wife and continue the love that brought them together several years ago. And I'm going to read something from up here on the SI on the Source Illustrated site, which I was running from. If you know somebody you know is a survivor of sexual assault or domestic violence, contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4636 or the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. So now to our main topic of this show, what's the future look like for Cody Rhodes? So, as expected, this past WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes was Seth Rollins' official opponent, and it was a pretty darn good match. Cody's first one back, and he had a pretty good promo on Monday Night Raw, talking about how he was back because he was there to win the WWE Championship for his father, Dusty Rhodes. And they told a story about how Dusty in 1972, 1977, whatever it might have been, he had an opportunity at a title shot. And there's a picture you put on this thing about Madison Square Garden, Dusty holding the title. But at that point, you couldn't change. I guess it's always been like this. Your title cannot change hands on a count out, a disqualification. So Dusty did not win the championship. And he talked about his dream was, when he was back in his first run, his dream was to win the WWE championship so that he could win it and put that title in his hands of his father. Can't no longer do that anymore with the passing of Dusty Rhodes, but he still wants to do that, and that is his goal. That is why he is back in WWE. That was a pretty good promo. Some people wondered if Cody was putting on, trying to make himself cry, putting on the things. I don't know. I don't know if it was or if it wasn't. I thought he was really. I thought he was really getting emotional about it. So I thought maybe I didn't see that as any type of false bravado or anything like that. Um, but now the question is, what is next for Cody Rhodes? What does he go on? He's going to be on SmackDown tonight, and because he was on Raw after that promo, Seth Rollins came out. They shook hands and nothing like that. So who knows if that's going to continue on? He thinks he's going to be on SmackDown tonight. We'll see what they're going to do tonight. I don't know what brand he's going to be on. If it's going to be Raw and SmackDown or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But I thought this would be a time to put on my fantasy bookers hat and do what should he do about Cody Rhodes? What does his future lie in WWE? And I think one of the things where it goes, I'm going to give you two scenarios here. Because we all know Roman Reigns won the he won the WWE Championship, unified the titles. However, there were reports that, you know, that even though this was going to be a unification match, there still was going to be a WWE champion and a Universal champion. It was going to be two, and he came out with both belts. He came out with both, So I'm not sure if they're going to, do the thing where he has to, um, you know, Well, it's just one championship, and you get both belts, and at some point down the line, they would have one belt made, or if this is or this is truly a unification match, where there's just going to be one champion, where it's just one champion, you know. And so here's what I'm thinking, and we're going to do both scenarios here. Okay, so let's first off let's do the scenario of there being, you know, or there still being two champions. Just one person holds both championships, right? There's still a WWE champion and there's still a Universal champion. Let's go with that. If that happens, I think this is a very easy thing that you do. And I think what you do is that you have Cody Rhodes you have him in major you have him in major matches, major number one storylines, major feuds, right? You know, maybe you continue on this with Seth Rollins. Maybe at some point you have Cody, go ahead with Edge. Maybe maybe at Money in the Bank, right? Money in the Bank. You have Cody Rhodes versus Edge in a number one contenders match, going for the WWE Championship. If Cody Rhodes beat Edge, he's able to overcome Damian Priest. He's able to overcome other members of Edge's future faction, and we may talk about that at some point in the future. There have been rumors for it to be Tommaso Ciampa and Rhea Ripley, which would be very interesting on both counts. So you have overcome Edge. He goes on to face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Now Roman Reigns is, what he does is that he defends each title from other shows. Maybe at Backlash he'll defend the um, the Universal title, and then maybe at Hell in a Cell he'll defend the WWE Championship, and then maybe he doesn't defend either one at Money in the Bank, right? We let the two women's championships, we let the two Money in the Bank ladder matches, we let them, sue for himself and have Roman just sit back and relax, and then we come to SummerSlam, and maybe he's finally gonna get his come up. Where he has to do, he just since SummerSlam, one of the big four, he got to defend both championships. He's got to defend the Universal Championship and the WWE Championship. And then maybe what you do is that you have the Universal Champion go on in the middle, right? Although Roman likes to do first or last. You can do first or last. Maybe the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns goes against Drew McIntyre, right? This is the this is the third, maybe this is the second or third match between these two, and the other matches have not come out with a conclusive winner. So now you have Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, and they have a 30-minute all-in-out match where Roman Reigns remains, is victorious, clean as a whistle, as everybody likes to say. No help from the Usos, no help from Heyman, no cheating, nothing like that. He just locks on that guillotine and chokes out Drew McIntyre, just like he did two Survivor Series ago. And then he retains his Universal Championship. And the night in the main event is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And it's the same thing. It's 30 minutes. It's everything. But maybe being wrestling two 30-minute matches has just taken all out on Roman Reigns, and he can't do it. He just can't do it. He can't finish it. And Cody gets him up. He hits something. Rolls Roman up. 1, 2, 3. There you have it. Cody Rhodes is now your new WWE champion. The first man to pin Roman Reigns since he came back in 2020. The first person to pin Roman Reigns. It would probably go back to 2019. Actually, he has not been pinned or submitted since 2019, which is amazing. It is truly amazing, knowing what we know, and that's got to do with how they presented Roman Reigns, and before He left for the pandemic, and how he's been presented after the pandemic. But it's amazing. And of course, we all know since he's come back after the pandemic, he's been, like he says, he's been on God mode in the ring and the promos and everything like that. It's been wonderful. It's been beautiful, and half of that has got to be because he's been working with Paul Heyman, and it's been incredible. So that happens, right? Cody Rhodes, and that's how Cody Rhodes becomes the new WWE champion, and he does it for his father, and it's great. So now let's say if it's just one championship, right? It's two belts, one championship, or whether they come out, and maybe that's why Roman told everybody to watch Friday night, because maybe tonight they're gonna come out with the new Universal Championship, for everybody to see. That would be pretty awesome. Um, so this happens, and now it's the exact same thing basically, except what you see now is that at SummerSlam we now go back and we do the same thing, and we go back to that Dusty Rhodes finish. Well, yeah, maybe they having a 25-30 minute absolute banger, and Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads on Roman Reigns on the outside. Cody Rhodes crawls back in, but Roman Reigns can make the count of 10. Cody Rhodes wins, but doesn't retain the championship, but doesn't win the championship. And I think that is good. I think that's good. That's always good to go back to something like that, because he told you about that. And so why does he tell you that, right? Why does Cody Rhodes tell you that? Because that's probably going to happen to him. Now, in my first way I said it, it didn't happen to him, right? He just went to SummerSlam. That's one way to do it. But I could very well see, even if you do it, even if you do it that way, and it's two championships, where Roman Reigns could win, could lose via count out in that situation as well. But I think you do it here. But the reason why in the past I did it, I'm doing it in this scenario, and whether in the past and there, because there's two championships. Roman Reigns is still the champion. He's still a universal champion. And I've always said that I think Roman Reigns should be, he should be champion. That the earliest he should lose it would be the Royal Rumble of next year, 2023. The latest is WrestleMania 40. Right? That's what I've been saying the past 6 months. But and that's what you do here. That's the way you do it here, right? You now have Cody Rhodes now winning the match, but not winning the championship. And what you do, and Cody, he talks about, I can't believe the same thing that happened to my father that happened to me. I'm not gonna let it go. I'm gonna continue to chase, and he's gonna fight off people. He's gotta fight off AJ Styles. He's gotta fight off Seth Rollins. He's gotta fight off Edge again. He's gotta fight off all of these people to get his shot at Roman Reigns once again. And maybe that's what happened with Survivor Series. Maybe at Survivor Series something happens, and when Roman Reigns can get his shot, not Roman Reigns, but Cody Rhodes can win. Maybe he's the sole survivor, and because he was the sole survivor in the Raw versus SmackDown match, he now gets his opportunity at the Royal Rumble against Roman Reigns. And here we go. We build it up and we leave it up, and things happen. I don't think there's going to be another pay-per-view in December again. I think they talked about TLC is going to be the October Saudi Arabia show. So I think that's what's going to happen in October, and then we have Survivor Series in November, and we don't have a pay-per-view in December. We go to Royal Rumble 2023. So at the 2023 Royal Rumble, we have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. And what we say, and we do, and Jim Cornette's not going to like this, but there's going to be no countouts. There's going to be no disqualifications. The way to win is by pinfall or submission, right? There must be a winner, and this is where things can happen. And I think these two can put out a hell of a match, and I think it's a banger. And then, we get the scene, but Roman Reigns locks on the guillotine, and he locks on, and normally what they do is they do the thing with the wrist. They hold the hand up and let it drop and call for the bell, right? Or sometimes they don't even do that. When they do the pass up, then they just kind of shake the arm and then they ring the bell. But now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the old school version. You're gonna drop the hand up once, drop the hand up twice, drop the hand up. Cody Rhodes, he starts to power out, and he starts to go, and he goes all ballistic, and he hits the whatever the fuck that thing is called, the crossroads. He hits the crossroads on Roman Reigns. He picks him up. He hits the crossroads. Just like he did at Seth Rollins. He hits the crossroads a second time. And he goes up and he does the flip, flop, and fly. Hit the elbow, brings him up, hits him for the crossroads the third time. 1, 2, 3. Your new Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes. He now is the main champion. And even though it holds the lineage of the WWE Championship in it, he now has it to where he now holds it, and you can do everything like that. You can take it to his father's grave. You can do all of that stuff now, and it's the same reaction from the SummerSlam: the tears of joy, can't believe it. His family's there, whatever, all of it, and then like that. His baby girl is there. And I think you have Cody Rhodes win the WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion at Royal Rumble 2023. And then that loss is the loss. Maybe you could say something where like it's The Rock. The Rock is there. He's there to support, Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns then says that having The Rock there caused, the reason why he lost the championship. And then once he loses his rematch at the Elimination Chamber, he turns on The Rock, and then that's how you get Rock versus Reigns for the head of the table at WrestleMania 39. But yeah, I think that's how you have two directions to get to Cody Rhodes being the #1 champion, the main champion in all of WWE. But I think it all depends on, again, how the title is going to be defended. Is it going to be one title, or is it going to be one title, one champion? Is it going to be 2 titles, 1 champion, or is it going to be 2 titles, 2 champions who just happen to be on one person, Roman Reigns? I think, and hopefully we'll find out maybe more tonight on SmackDown, or in the upcoming weeks as well. So that's how I see Cody's future being with WWE. I think that they are going to present him as the big name that he has become. He went to the Indies, he made himself a name, made himself his name even bigger. He then goes and helped create AEW. He's a big name over there, a main name. Now he's back in WWE, back home. And I know some people are very skeptical, but I think he is going to be presented in the same way. I think that even if he goes to like and does some mid card things, like everybody's worried that in 6 months it's going to be him versus The Miz, him and his wife Brandy versus The Miz and Maurice. But even if they are doing that, I think the WWE, Vince, Bruce, Cody, Mike The Miz, I think, and anybody else who's around it, if they are doing it, they're going to make that into a main stage, no matter how you see The Miz. They're gonna make The Miz feel that big, so that when there's that happening, it's not as if Cody Rhodes is going down to The Miz's level. Which, listen, as I say that, I want to make sure to tell you that I'm not saying that The Miz is as bad, but right now we see The Miz he's in his mid card range right now, and that's just where he's at right now. We have to be honest about that. So it's not Cody Rhodes going down to The Miz's level. It's The Miz's being elevated up to Cody's level, and that's the way you see it. So I think I think all of that is going to happen, but it's going to be a fun ride. I cannot wait to watch it. Cody Rhodes is back in WWE. Can you believe it? I still can't. Wow. All right, y'all. That is going to be it for this episode of That's a Shoot. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Post if you have any comments on the things we talked about today. So is Samoa Joe being all elite. The unfortunate tragedy that happened with Sonny and a fatal car crash. The just unfortunate story that is swirling around Nash Carter and his wife Kimberly. Um, and of course, our main topic, Cody Rhodes back in WWE. What does his future look like? Do you agree with me? Do you think I, have a right idea, or or are you one of those that just thinks, in 6 months he's going to be wrestling? In 6 months he's going to be going for the 24/7 championship. Whatever. If you think, post in the comments down below. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.